Here we are. It's 2 minutes past 4:20, and I'm echoing. Why is this happening? Let's fix this, please. There we go. Good Tuesday to you all. It's been a while. I'm back. I've been busy, but I'm happy to be back joining the Sativa Cross podcast again. Lefty,
Happy
say
Tuesday.
something. There you go. You said something.
Uh,
We were just discussing what we were discussing before. If you hadn't heard, just to get random bits of current events out of the way, caning has been induced as a form of punishment in Singapore to scammers. I think it's like the minimum sentence of like 6 strokes, and then like the maximum of like 20 to 40. That's what we were talking about before. I imagine we have other things to talk about. And Jim's here now. Hello, Jim.
Jim, you're muted. Hey, there. I got it. What's going on?
Not much. I imagine we're going to be talking about the Farm Bill today,
I
correct?
don't know. I have no idea. I just stop on and talk about what's going on with whoever wants to talk about it. The thing is, I get my information from people that are keeping up to date better than me, and I haven't been able to keep up with much for the last 2 days. Actually 3.
Well,
So I'm a little underinformed, but there's so much going on.
what I can tell you,
And yeah, the Farm Bill. I do know our senators went different ways on that. Andy Kim voted for it, and Cory Booker voted against it.
to anyone who's wondering what we're talking about, if you go to my page, I recently did a video talking about the basics of the Farm Bill. For anyone worried, do not worry. The legal dispensaries are not the things at risk here. What is being persecuted right now, rightfully, is the hemp-derived products that are being sold from smoke shops and other small. Most of the time, I find like you have to go to the head shop and they got like THCA bars and all that other stuff. So that's what we're talking about. And that's what, as I said in my video, I think this is a good thing for the industry. I don't think it needs to be permanent, but I think to keep the information flow, at least for this thing that people are using as both medicine and other means for people to know, like I always say, to know what they're putting in their body, and have the people licensed to employ others to talk about that. I think having them be the sole people to deal with that is the right move.
Yeah.
yeah, Matt had to have drinks and hemp products on those shelves very soon. Real hemp drinks. Hemp drinks that are like, a good percentage. I guess they would be cannabis drinks. It's the same plant. So stop breaking the plant apart. It's the same plant. It's an amazing plant. Don't bastardize it. It's one plant. So yeah,
but
why should companies spend billions of dollars on their stuff we could sell to a kid in a gas station? Industry. Yeah, it's.
But so let's be fair here. Like what we I believe you had someone on a couple months ago who was saying, you could open a dispensary or you can open a gas station where you don't need to go through all the legwork and everything. You just sell weed out of that. And that's a big part of the problem. Like a lot of the reasons people get into stages of psychosis or other roadblocks in their life is because whether it be cannabis or not, they're not researching what they're putting in their body, or they're remaining ignorant to something that they're ingesting or doing. And I think, yes, I'm not ignorant to the fact that there's definitely other roles at play here, but on the face of it, generally, I think it's good that we're getting something that's muddling the education mixture out of the way.
Well, we'll find out. That's, it'll become.
Here's the thing. They see by now, everyone, whatever you want to put that in, they see this makes good money. They see that this is something that's being widely accepted. It doesn't make sense for me, at my perspective at least, for them to attack legal cannabis, especially with the whole mess that would make. So,
yeah, attacking how, so unclear. Attacking legal cannabis, how? I don't know what you mean by that.
well, what I had
Attacking
some,
it.
well, there's attacking it, and then there's wanting to, I've heard some people worry about them saying, thinking that they might reverse it, and I try to explain to them.
Basically just speaking out against, holding court against something or speaking down on it. Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's I got lost on Senator Patience grow one plant. So
yeah.
But
well,
yeah,
he lost the side, not the side.
I just don't know. What's the worst thing that would be said in opposition to the Farm Bill? That'll help me understand what we're talking about. You can educate me right here.
So the worst thing I can imagine that would be said, to oppose the Farm Bill modifications, I would say there's a better way of saying this, but the best way I can put it is the freedom to work within the gray area that they've been operating in. The fact that it would disrupt their business, some would say immeasurably, because a lot of people rely on that because of the misinformation about cannabis, and there's some people take advantage of that, but they're not going to say that on the face of it, of course. But yeah, some would say it would impede their business. Some would say that they should be told what legal products should be sold. I feel like there's a bunch of different angles as far as freedom and consumer trade and whatnot that they'd throw at the wall. But at the end of the day, I think this is going to stick because between, like I said, the misinformation it muddles through the established education we have of cannabis right now, and the fact that there's also health issues that come with that. It's one thing if something some cannabis you get from a dispensary, like I've told you before, my best friend in Florida, when she's found weed or edibles with mold on them, she's returned them. They've honored that, and they've compensated her for that. You find that on a smoke shop, they're gonna say tough luck,
Yeah, okay, but they said, sorry, here's something that's not contaminated. There's no penalties within the system to assess dispensaries at the moment. When that happens, in other words, it's like we understand shit is going to happen, but if it's a matter of just giving you something, I don't think that's.
Well, no. My more direction was from a a PR basis, on the face of it. A dispenser, if say that made the news or someone caught wind of that happening, a smoke shop is going to be catching a lot less flack and heat, and people may not even care as much and blame the person who got it for not researching them, rather than if it's say the dispensary was caught in the middle of that, they'd be looked at a lot harsher for holding that product, rather than say if someone were to get a bag of Delta 9 gummies and have a bad reaction because of how it was made.
Yeah,
they wouldn't go after.
There is going to be a bill flying around that would offer penalties to be assessed. I don't know what the number is, and this is something Andrea is working on, and other people beyond I just get reports and then I try to know what's going on. It's why I got lots of bandwidth in case something comes right up my alley. I'm ready. I don't know. I guess in a way like that, it's just that's kind of the way it happens in business. I mean, a health department does a random inspection. There's going to be things that I'm not talking about rats running around and dirty food. I'm talking about a health inspection where it turns up stuff.
Yeah.
And I think there are, well, I don't know. I don't know how the fines work. You know, if there's a fine plus you make repairs or whatever. But I think that's kind of ultimately what really helps me snap. I'm not saying that in like, they cut corners way. You know, but it's more of an enticement if they know there is a financial penalty, not huge proportions. You know,
Yes.
Baseball players swear as kids here, and he gets fined. Whatever. You know, I'm just saying. You know, there's fines. You know, it doesn't make him an outlaw. And there's just so much going on. So yeah. I'm not keeping up.
It's. I think ultimately though, they understand that, you know, between the quality, how it's made, and the misrepresentation of the product, that it's going to that this is definitely for the better good.
Yeah.
But
so Chris Goldstein was interviewed, and he said the next step for cannabis isn't for there to be a dispensary on every corner. It's going to be cannabis-infused cottage industries like boutique hotels, infused restaurant menus, catered events such as weddings, bridal showers, and other celebrations.
All the stuff that's going on in some other places, not in New Jersey, but little, you know, like a little lodge. You go get a 2 or 3 day package. The meals are infused. You're around other people and their accommodation. You know, it sounds like a lot of fun. You know, I'd like to experience that.
Yeah,
good. But does that take away from somebody else? That cottage industry who is going to be the pushback on that happening? Because any change, there's going to be somebody bitching about it.
Yeah, and, I think you might think me a little fantastical for thinking this, but I honestly think, Liz, that this might be, like, honestly, there might be some kickback a little bit, but I think for the most part, this will boil down to, you know, there are establishments that people go to who consume. There are establishments that people go to who don't consume. And some will muddle the mixture between the two. But at the end of the day, I think it's just going to be like, you know, if you do, you go there. If you don't, you go there.
Hold on 1 second.
Very good.
I love that so much. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Liz, where did I see you last? I feel I definitely saw you in person somewhere recently.
Yeah, you saw me at Best in Grass. I had the scooter, but you actually saw my daughter sitting with it while I was talking to somebody.
So, Jim and Lefty, what was really cool about that event, other than, you know, the awards and everything, was there was a guy there from this company, Pre-Roller. I think he was the CEO. They're a Canadian company that makes the pre-roll and other, you know, devices that they use for packaging and mass production. That guy's knighted in Canada.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, you didn't hear them say that? Yeah. He's they announced that he's knighted. I went out to him right after and I said, I think it's like super cool that we're probably one of the only industries like this who has someone who's knighted in it.
Now, the only thing, I don't know about you, but the thing that I found was a little off, not off, but probably a bad decision. This was a weed event.
No food.
No, not that. No weed. You couldn't bring anything in.
Yeah, well, it's the Starland Ballroom.
Exactly.
I honestly expected that from the get-go.
But it wasn't the venue.
About bringing recording stuff.
It wasn't the venue they should have used. You can't have a weed event where you can't smoke weed.
Or don't have any food. Like my big thing was, you guys are having the cannabis awards. Where are the bud tenders? There's bartenders, no bud tenders.
Yeah, bar.
Yeah. It was a good event, though. I will say,
Yes.
for their first event in New Jersey, this was a good event. It was
I
a good
agree.
effort, and they definitely put on a good show.
Yes.
So
I did, I did get to meet a couple of people, a couple of companies that, I'm very, that I like very much. There were a couple that I was supposed to meet that I didn't get around to because while it is handicap accessible, it's not fully handicap accessible.
Yes.
Like I had to get out and get up a couple of steps to go talk to a
Step is a wall.
what's that?
So the step is a wall.
It's you damn right it is. I can walk, but it's long distances and steps are a real problem for me.
Was there anybody else there that would have trouble with that?
Yeah, there was one other person. I see him around a lot. He's a young kid. He's in a wheelchair, but a motor. It's a specialized wheelchair. I don't know if he has something from birth or if he had some kind of spinal cord injury. I'm not sure. Very nice kid. Very nice kid.
I know what you're talking about. I met him a couple of times.
Yeah.
There's a wheelchair that can go up steps. I saw. I mean, it's like a specialty. That's amazing.
Yep.
I mean,
the
ingenuity put into making that, from what I saw, was unreal.
But yeah, within 10 years, we'll have those kind of like the spider arm wheelchairs replacements, like just walking like that.
Yeah. But another thing too, the person who actually sponsors me and got me the Jazzy is a welder, and he does handicap ramps and things like that. And for areas that have steps, he makes portable ramps that you can take down and put up as needed. And that's something for somebody like the Starland Ballroom that would be great.
Yes.
For events, you just keep them in a closet, and if you have any handicaps, you just put the little ramps down and you're good.
That actually, now that I think about it, more surprises me that they aren't set up better for handicap, because I imagine they have like crowds of all sorts.
Oh yeah.
Well, wouldn't it be, and this would be interesting with Lefty sitting right here, wouldn't it be almost a good little side hustle for somebody that you could call, if you're having an event and you needed that?
Yes.
Somebody would have some really
pre-made.
Cool stuff.
Oh, like a portable setup.
Yeah. Well, the party of the celebration for the 100th birthday of a friend of Kathy's that we went to. There is at a country club, and there was a side and a rail in the middle where they set something up like what was it, a lift, or I can't even remember now, but it was like fully functional and cool, and that's the kind of thing that for 5 steps they had somebody set it up, But then for the simple things like what kind of ramps, you load it up, you get it out, it hangs around, they come back, they take it away, and cost you like about what a portable.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great business idea. I have also seen online where they have these steps, and then you push a button, the step goes down, and it becomes a flat ramp, and then you can lift the whole thing.
Huh.
It's cool as hell,
That sounds
but
cool.
probably expensive as hell too.
The portable transportation, I've been kind of teetering on thinking about getting an electronic bike, and what has made that decision a lot easier is like the electronic car model bikes that you see around now that have like the cover over them that like are 4-wheel or 3-wheel.
I haven't seen it.
No, those are, and they're like $400 to $600. They're a joy. I haven't tried one yet, but they just
The ones like mine.
Like, it it's like a bike, but it's more styled like a car. You have to see it to like a cart or a car, like a
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I'll tell you, I never ever wanted to be one of those people who's scooting around in a jazzy. And I was like, there's no fucking way this will ever be me. And guess what? I love this is gonna bling it out with the big flamingo on the back, all jeweled out. My son, I don't know if you saw it, but my son actually put lights on the undercarriage.
So now what you need to do, you need to go to Walmart and you get yourself a little speaker, a little Bluetooth speaker.
I have 1,000 of them. Actually, I think it was Jersey Smooth maybe that gave him out at Nikan. I don't know. Well, anyway, go ahead.
And you get yourself a speaker, and then you can also get yourself for the basket a little tripod attachment for your phone. So you
Have
can
that.
smoke. We go walk around, and you can be live here doing that.
Okay.
You could make that a very viral setup there.
My wheelchair gives me superpowers.
Yeah.
I couldn't do a lot of my activism without my chair.
I love that. Just say to a bunch of people, this wheelchair can make me fly. Okay, can you show us? No, not right now. No, not right now. Obviously, it's all been conjured my activism abilities.
Mm.
I think Jim counted how many miles I have done in my.
Yeah, I figured it out. It was easy because you can go to Google Earth and see that each intersection is 22 feet across on the inside. So that'd be 88 feet for going around. And then I timed him going around a couple because he was doing it while I was watching. And it was the coolest thing. I think it's like 80 miles, 78 miles. It was a number. It was up there, around that intersection. And he went enough to go from Bayonne to Timbuktu. Yeah.
And you're not even joking. There's an app that several of them that he could earn like either points or cash or donations for just moving around. And I bet dollars to donuts, either the one exists or you could get someone to work this out for you, where you would earn the same amount for also smoking or consuming cannabis. So just go around, protest, move around, smoke, and you could raise money doing that just from your chair.
Ooh, a little bit of hashish.
Hey, Johnny.
Johnny Trash, New Jersey. How are we doing, Johnny? So, like I said to Lefty before, I'm leaving for Tampa in the morning, and then I get back Saturday, and then Tuesday I'm going to Pennsylvania to be on Late Night Greens, the interview podcast where they cut your hair and talk about cannabis.
You got to get your hair cut?
Yep, I usually have a very specific person who cuts my hair, so I'm hoping for the best, and they seem like they do a good job, so I'm not too worried.
Yeah,
Go back.
You want some really something to bring viewers in. Make it like a spin the wheel hang shit. Yeah.
No.
I knew that was going to be a hard no.
Couldn't do that. No, that's too many variables. Like maybe if I could find more than 2 different hairstyles that I would want, and that's being generous with that number even. I'm very set in with this one because, like, for the most of my life, it was just I didn't do anything with it. I just the hair would grow. If it got too long, I'd cut it. It would look nice. It would look messy. That was it.
The Brazilian wax.
No,
Oh.
no, that's not that. Why would my head? They're not. No, God. You know, you have. I don't know if you know this yet. You know, you have a fan over at Air Wellness. My friend Jimmy.
I love Jimmy.
He's the one. Yeah. Constantly suggesting that you do a dating night at the
He wants me to ask you about the dating night. When are we going to do dating night?
I'm not. Yeah, I've told him I'm not getting involved in that.
What the hell?
I'm not. He wants to do a dating show or like kind of like a dating meetup night or something at the dispensary or in the off building. And
You'd be a great host for that. You could be the host.
I wouldn't because I'd be just so removed mentally that it just wouldn't be appropriate.
Oh.
And not just for the fact that I would be on my best behavior locally. I imagine everything going on there wouldn't be great either.
Ooh. I've forgotten how hash doesn't go out and then you're smoking by yourself. That can be quite a conundrum.
Yes, fires are real.
Dude.
I love hash.
I do
love
too.
hash.
There's a line that I draw though, and that's what was that? I was perusing where Breakwater had one of their half gram hash rosin vapes. $95. Maybe 70.
I was going to say 65. Yeah.
Maybe. But 95 for a half. You must be something a glass something. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
that shit better come and do my dishes.
A couple things like that have been bothering me. There's that, and then there's forget the company that makes it, but they have a hemp infused Sativa Cross advertises it as a Canagar, but everywhere else it's just a hemp infused blunt. We all know the difference between a blunt and a Canagar in as far as thickness, and I found it very irresponsible that they were marketing that. It's like, oh yeah, $80 a Canagar. No.
Wow.
Do you know, I was over in Staten Island. I was doing an event there with Allie from Pink's Products. I'm working with her. And they had a Canagar over $400 or $385.
Yeah, that's some more. But yeah, that's more apt for that price. Yeah, absolutely.
That's insane.
That's a lot. It's a lot of cannabis. It take like take your standard cigar, now empty it, now fill it with cannabis. $350.
Yep.
I'd have to.
Again, it should do
Just
my
plain
dishes
simple.
for me. It should clean my bathroom.
How many people would partake in that? I mean, you need like 8
Well,
people.
If I'm putting out,
That thing goes.
if I'm putting
Well, no,
out
it
that
could
kind
be
of
one
money,
person,
I ain't
Jim.
sharing that shit. Hell no.
Yeah, that's something like you get for like you go out for a night by yourself to the theater. You smoke that before dinner. You go have dinner. You smoke it up after
like,
dinner.
you know, half an ounce in one Canagar. I mean, my God.
Pretty much.
I mean, some people go through cigars in like a couple days.
Well,
Like one cigar, they'll go through it in like a couple days after like in and out.
Well, without going into the depth of it, I had 2 hot boxing moments out in a vehicle, a really cool, accessible vehicle. A guy could like hook up with his wheelchair was his seat in the vehicle, and that's awesome. So, yeah. I mean, to the point where
Absolutely.
I know I'm smoking it, and I know it's really good, but I think I reached an optimum peak, you know? And kind of like a Cheech and Chong thing when you leave the vehicle on a day like today. They were just sort of hung there. And these are not young people either, so it's kind of.
That's fair. I
Well,
picked
do you
up-
know that every dispensary and company that I speak with tells me the same thing. More than 50% of their customer base is over 50 years old. It's all about us, Jim.
Yeah, it is.
It really
time.
is. This is our time. Our time to shine.
You know, it's almost like that sarcastic remark to how long have I been using that? When will patients come first sign? It was at a home grow thing we did inside the annex 8 years ago, I guess it was almost. And that was just to get a bill written. I mean, that was like back in the thing. But you know, I gotta throw that up all the time. And now I'm thinking I know the answer. When will home grow come first? When it's your grandma, you know? Oh, yeah. You know, it's being denied to some pretty sympathetic potential customers, you know. But that to me is going to be, I guess, the last thing on my bucket list is to know that patients get to, when I say grow their own, it's mostly going to be somebody doing it for them. I mean, people know people who are physically able to do it. So it's going to be that, but it's beyond the cost. It's personal then. Your medicine becomes very personal to you.
And you can,
Your plants have names, and you talk to them, and you watch the miracle. And if this right here, then there's going to be more shoots growing out just over each of the leaves here, and those will become. You know, people have never seen that, and you know, and it's. I understand from the WHAM, Women's Alliance for Medical Marijuana in California, when they had a co-op, and it was live-in for I think it was 200 or 250 people, and that was the greatest part of it for almost everybody to be able to, you know. And it was all, they were growing in the same place, but you had your own plants, you know. And yeah, that's I think especially sometimes it's an end of life thing, you know, and it's just palliative care, growing that, well, you may outlast still, you know. It's, I don't know. It's but
I think there's definitely going to be oversight. I don't think that it's going to go down the road of people, like other people growing for other people. I think maybe services like that down the road.
It will, though, is because you can't say you can grow this in your house, but no other humans are allowed near your plants. No other humans are allowed to touch your plants, you sick person. If you can't grow it on your own, screw you. No, it's going to be anybody. It could be a son or a daughter or a grandchild, any. And it's sort of like, if it's how can we enforce that? You know, I don't know how many ways you can say stick it up your ass to somebody without actually saying that. But at that point, it becomes evident that the push to contain it and enforce it, and I don't ever do air quotes, is not going to be productive anyway. It's to no end. So it's
they approved for a start 4 plants, and the regulation was you had to put a visual only camera facing those plants, feeding off at all, playing at all times. To monitor.
I'd say, like, yeah, if this was like in the book 1984, you know, yeah, that would have actually fit well then. There has to be that. It's like, you know, there's going to be a way around that too. What effort does that take, and what does it cost to monitor that? Let's look at the risk benefit, the cost, you know, the governmental cost of the right to do this for this. You know what? That would be the Rubicon Rubicon. I don't know exactly know what that means, but I know this is when you say it. Right, isn't it? Line in the set. No,
I think
that would be, and you know, it's like, let me quote Nick Scutari on that. We should not let the quest for perfection be the enemy of the good. Yeah,
I think that
that was to get it passed in New Jersey, to get money into Trenton. No, it's not going to be perfect. No, we're going to have cleanup bills. I mean, you know, it's always going to be a work in progress. So for adults and to get money into Trenton, we understand that, you know. But what about patients? The freaking medicine, it's a weed that's medicine, and to drive any little wedge in between. You know, I think reparations are due patients. Oh, I got a good one. Why should we not have the fact that New Jersey didn't tax medicine and did tax it, and then when decided not to, they goddamn phased it out rather than just cut it off. Yeah, all the stuff that I spent at dispensaries then, I could find out exactly what I spent. I think New Jersey was reparations. I should want my tax money back because, you know, so like they knew better. And the final nail in that coffin is the New Jersey Division of Taxation didn't want to collect the tax. They vote on bills, whether they want them to pass or not. And there's a bill that would rescind the sales tax immediately. The New Jersey Division of Taxation wholeheartedly supported it, voted and said, yes, we don't want to. I had to get in touch with their New Jersey's Wikipedia page because, yeah, they do tax medicine. It said they don't tax medicine. Yes, they do. And it changed to they do, you know, and now it's got. They got to let go of the rope if they're going to ever hope to get adults to take them seriously about regulating adult stuff. And like you were saying before, yeah, there is certain regulations are necessary. You know, I mean, I liked it when there weren't, and the legacy market had some things going on. You know, and that's good for me. But I see where, as a way of doing business in New Jersey, doing this, I see where it's not sustainable. I get it, but then the devil's in the details. Where's the dividing lines between what you never is.
it ultimately,
No, not at all.
And what's the procedure to adjust that? At least in the beginning, they did have procedures for adding new indications. Now they were cumbersome and took too long. But along with any of that should be, okay, it is going to be a work in progress. How do we make it, you know, and where is somewhere that, as an example, patients who are affected, a number they could call and talk to a person and deal that way, you know? Now, that'd be really cool to spend some money on that because, again, there's going to be a lot of patients who are seniors and a lot of patients it's hard for them to physically take care of things. It needs to be made easy.
Oh, absolutely. Didn't I say that last week about the money that they've collected? I know I was saying it somewhere, but the money that the state has collected, and every state, it should go, part of it should be budgeted for nurses to follow up with medical patients.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
to follow up.
You get a lot of information then.
Yeah.
Directly from other people, not with the purpose of offering some sort of proof where, you know, you have another duplicate test somewhere else. Not related. And you start to identify when somebody says, here's why I want to use it. You can.
This is what helps me. This is what doesn't.
They have a path sort of to follow, you know.
Yeah.
And then,
social services follows people all the time. Now, you know, and I'm sure there's enough money to be able to do these
Well, this is
cannabis nurses.
yeah, this is where artificial intelligence would be well served too, because a lot of you can, if you're going to get information quicker, you know, it's not like writing a thesis and taking credit for artificial intelligence. It's like paths. It's like me going to YouTube and saying, okay, what somebody put up, I got to do this. Where do I begin? There's information. It's just clues. And
I think the human factor is more important, honestly. It's just me. But I think you can get better information and
charts, spreadsheets, and things. I mean, and then gleaning information, you know, where somebody has to write some sort of something to say all the information that could be coming in from all the reasons patients use it and how old, all
and
that.
their dosing and
How to form that into something others can absorb.
they can just put it into but you know, it's a lot easier than you think it is. You know, they would have a questionnaire that they would be answering, you know, just like you fill out forms online. They would fill it out for patient number P17349. Or whatever, you know what I'm saying. And they ask the questions that are on the monitor in front of them. They, you know, fill out the answers, and it all goes into a big database. And you know, you can get a lot of information, a lot of solid information, and this will help make informed decisions when voting. Hopefully.
Well,
They want data. They want something quantifiable.
What it takes to set up, what it takes to set up the database, the groundwork, the inroads, all the information you need.
It isn't as much as you think. It's not as much as you think, Jim. It's just some computer tech building a program. My son could do it. My son is a programmer, and he's also an IT. And my nephew and my son-in-law, they're all programmers. Like, they can knock out shit like this in no time. They do things for Google. My son-in-law does. You know, a lot of the work he does is for Google. You know,
you know, it'd be a good database then. People, I mean, and to get things changed, this state to that state to this state to that state, federal. You know, well, back to the idea of email trails between patients and all that. You know, it all falls apart because of people not beating down the doors to say, I could help make that happen. You know, and so to get all that, here it is. Now what? You know, but that would be really cool every election to be able to say, well, you said to a, you know, and the information you have, and it follows you now, as opposed to somebody not being of help when they could have, and then, you know, they kind of walk away from it. It doesn't follow you. But if it was there on record, because the only advantage we have dealing with a legislative person, the constituent could take a big picture of it and put on a billboard everything that person sent you, every word. But they can't say boo about the constituent. They can't say you're taking that out of context. Prove it. You know, I'm not allowed to prove it. You know, it's like where the truth, we could help be something to bully people with the truth, what they said. And you see it all the time on the national stage with, well, you said just last week, but you said that, you know. We don't have that at the state level. You know, I didn't see anybody say to Chitterelli, oh yeah, you voted against PTSD, but you know, that never really came up. It's yeah, a better way of holding legislators responsible, because the idea of offering transparency is like a joke, you know. I mean, it's like the Wizard of Oz transparency, you know.
Yeah. Looks like we lost the bucket man.
Bucket Man had to take off. Yeah, he's getting ready for his trip.
Trip? Where to? Going on.
He's going to Tampa.
Spring? No, not spring break. Fall break.
I forget what he's doing down there, but he's always got something going on, Bucket Man.
Yep.
Why don't you give Bucket Man an intro song?
A what?
An intro, like you got Liz Lights Up.
Who did that, by the way?
Johnny Trash.
Johnny
Yeah.
Trash, thank you so
Yeah.
much. Can I
It's
use
really-
it? You mind if I use
really
it?
good.
Because I freaking
Yeah.
love it. It is so me. You nailed it. I can't tell you how
100%,
awesome
yeah.
it is.
Really, it is. You know, I mean,
You couldn't have done any better. So if it's okay, can I use it? I would love to use
so
it.
like when
Bless you.
Lefty plays that after playing his own intro song, there's like 2 intro songs being used. Lefty's to begin the show, which I think is the best I've ever heard. You know, I want it as an outro too, because that motivates me. But then to have, there's Liz, you know, you got to come. It's really good. You know, it's sort of like
It's genius.
You know,
The
what-
70s game.
Lefty. Yeah. You could catch Liz when she's on deck and only you can see her. You know, you could. I would guess get that all ready and just press that and boom, Liz is in the stage and it comes out like that. You know, that'd be awesome. That's good. I'm good at finding things for other people to.
Yeah, but
That went to sounds too. I mean, you know, at the end of every show, William Marini says, "That concludes our podcast." You know, it's like so timely. So that kind of thing works. It's good podcast. I love that. It sounds like a 1980s, you know, maybe 70s.
The theme is 70s game show.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
It's amazing. I love it so much. I played it for my kids.
Johnny Trash says, "Yeah, man, no worries." He's working on one for Jim too.
Oh, you are awesome, Johnny. You are awesome. Thank you.
That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I've always thought I have never written a song because every time I do, it sounds mundane. And then sometimes there's a song on, but the sound's down like on television, but with the transcription going on, so I can see the lyrics suck. You know, it's a song that's making money, but it's like I've never done it. And then Johnny Trash can put something together like that has. I mean, it's not like it's the wordiness of it. It's like the perfect sound. I mean,
yeah, it fits me.
Of that time period. I mean, you know, watching all sorts of shows then that were like that had
the match game,
the
the pyramid, all that. Yeah, Joker's Wild. But it's funny because he nailed me perfectly. I'm totally a 70s girl.
You know, and I was reading. I wish I can remember the numbers. It was from 2023 to 2024, or those 2 years, not from mid. The percentage of cannabis consumers that were seniors dramatically changed over those 2 years. You know, not a few. I need to know the numbers actually, obviously, for relativity. But it definitely impressed me.
Over 50%. Like I said, all the dispensaries I speak to, over 50% of their clientele is over 50 years old. And in the next 2 years, in 2027, there is going to be an explosion of people turning 65. An explosion. You know, we're living longer thanks cannabis. And we're more involved, and we're more mobile, or we're still out there kicking. We're not like the 70s Nona that used to sit on the plastic in the living room and make gravy on Sundays.
And I think also, over decades, more people get to retirement and find out if you have good health and things to do, it don't suck. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
it's what you make it. It's what you make it.
I mean, it's not like when you're young, you're thinking about how long you're going to live. You don't have to do that when you're getting older either.
No, you don't.
And subconsciously for me, the time I have invested in just trying to play a keyboard, I don't mean like to sound like somebody that really knows how, just to enjoy what I could play. It's kind of hard to explain why.
It just brings you joy. That's all you need.
And cannabis plays a huge part, because as anybody would tell you, learning piano, it's the repetition you got to do to get your fingers going where to go, and they sort of know where to go. All of a sudden, you're not even hardly telling them. And now that I've experienced that, it's just a mystery to me. And I'm like, okay, I couldn't tell you. In other words, something I couldn't tell you right now where to put my fingers on the keys for something I can play. I'm not looking at it when the left hand's doing the bass part, which I kind of focus on more. And it's almost like they're dancing together a little bit, complex dance. But hey, teacher, I mean, here you're going to smoke some cannabis, young piano student. Here we go. I mean, to take that to the practice, to play the same thing that lasts maybe 6 seconds over and over. And sometimes I'm doing it while I'm reading something, trying to do it slow, and then I'm thinking, oh, look, I'm able to read and still do. Oh, I just messed up. Okay.
You go into autopilot.
Yeah.
What you've done actually is created a habit, and habits take on average about 2 weeks to form one habit, and once it becomes a habit, you never even think about it again.
I know.
And it's true, because what you talk about back in the day, I took typewriting as one of my electives. And so, all right, so you had an Olympia typewriter that was not an electric, it was manual, and none of the keys had the letters on them.
Well, I don't remember the note, but I think it was the letters on them, and I'm thinking Remington. But yeah, I took typing as a senior. And there was like one other guy in class, and you didn't have to take I ran out of like physics. It was like if you took biology and then chemistry and physics, they didn't have another science course. So instead of something important, I thought typing, because it'd be good to know. But it's kind of funny, it was weird taking something that was then definitely more for females. There wasn't a lot of guys going to go take typing. And then I'd convince them, you're going to take home ec, you're going to have some real fun being the only guy around, because then girls treat guys like guys treat girls. If there's a whole bunch of them and only a couple of guys, all of a sudden they're making these double entendres. And I don't know if I'm a typical guy, but man, I cultivate it. I don't care. It's like, yeah. So, but that came in handy, because like, I can use a keypad without looking at it, So especially if I have to take something as written down and retype it, that's just, okay, And then how many words? Oh, yeah, when I kind of rigged how many words a minute, because back then it was like, okay, ready, begin. And you type, and it'd be like a long thing. You just start typing at the top and then stop. It'd be 3-minute tries. Now scroll up. Okay, go. So what I would do is I'd stop and scroll up at what I estimated to be about 50 seconds. And then I start on the second one early. And then I'd stop with them. And I'd get ready, scroll up. I'd already scrolled up. I don't stand where I am. I'd pretend like I'm scrolling up. And I'd be ready to go. And I type for a full 60 seconds. So now I got like 68 seconds on one. And then I'd steal the first 8 seconds or so, or the third one. And it'd be like, well, you type 28 words per minute, but then you type 46 words per minute, and then you type 30 words per minute. So we'll take the middle score. Who wouldn't catch up to that? I mean, you'd think a teacher would say,
So you cheated in typewriting class, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's good. Yeah. I know it's funny because the technology now, there's some real learning to be done, but some of it was just, wearing this, going to a language lab, to where you all had your own little booth in this, and then the teacher could talk to just you for her thing, so I'd do it like 4 other people, watch the clock, and at a certain click of the minute, everybody jammed their headphones off like there was a loud buzzing noise, So when that happened, we whipped our headphones off. What happened? Oh, I almost felt that, and everybody, hey, take your headphones off, take your headphones. Everybody else didn't. She didn't know what to do, so we didn't have to put up with that shit.
Okay, so what do we have here? I'm not sure if it's a map or a woman's face.
Before we go, I want to show you a lost clip of The Price is Right with Bob Barker. This is a pretty cool clip. Check this out.
Oh,
Marge, are you ready?
I'm ready, Bob.
Marge, you've just won a black hole. Marge, are you ready?
Ready, Bob.
Marge.
Oh man.
That's not at all what I expected when you put that up,
That's great. If Bob Barker has been all over the internet lately. It's great.
Must be his birthday or something coming up.
But thank you, Mad Hatter. The car show was great over the weekend. There was a bunch of people here. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah. How that went good? That went well?
Yeah, it went really well. It was really cool. A lot of cool cars here.
Nice.
That's a good space. It's on a road where it's going to be well seen by people riding by, I'm guessing.
CMMJ, UFCW, Arlo Glass, OpenMachine.com, and SativaCross.org, where you can donate $1 or $1 billion.
Or you can bring by some stuff for the Thanksgiving Day pop-up in the morning. Extra credit if you've never been able to help at all and you're anywhere near Trenton. Get some warm clothes you don't wear anymore. Other people's warm clothes. Bring them by 8 o'clock in the morning. And then the pop-up begins with a lot of giveaways. I'm looking forward to it.
Wake and bake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just, and, I'm getting a moderate response. It's good. I'm meeting Wednesday with stuff on Wednesday. It's easy to remember. But between us is the Garnett Grill. So I'm combining pleasure and pleasure of getting, what it is she's going to donate for the Thanksgiving thing. But I finally get some of Pat's chicken. Ooh.
Is the Garnett Grill donating anything? Or can we,
no, you know what? I never said anything, but I'm going to be there tomorrow. And I think Pat will find it's funny. Marianne Bays, I don't know if you know her or not, but yeah, she's going to Glass Bar to Rowan. There's something to do with cannabis going on there or whatever,
Uh-oh.
and she had all sorts of stuff. So she's gonna stop by here after I see Wednesday there. So it's a double, and I got to leave Wednesday to bring it back here, and somebody else coming by. Pretty cool. But when Pat finds out that we're using his place as a transfer for the Sativa Cross Thanksgiving, you know, it'd make you feel good is if you came in and made a bunch of chicken to go, you know, early in the morning, and I pick it up from you about 8 o'clock. You could get there about 6 in the morning and get it all ready. I'd be kidding around, but I swear to God, he's the kind of guy that would, if he could do anything like that, he would. You know, he's generous behind the scenes.
That's
too,
wonderful.
in a lot of ways. Yeah, but oh yeah, and Lefty, I was looking at last year's. Be real quick. You're gonna get some hangers. So anything that's coats, jackets, pants, or shirts, even anything. But the framework of a tent is what holds what I could bring bars, you know, which would be like to hang things on. It'd be at least 2 rows then. Because last year we did that because we needed a tent because it was predicted rain and it did rain, and you know, but we were able to do that. And I don't know what I'm going to see tomorrow, but there's still a week. There could be quite a bit. Big house. Oh, that's awesome.
I got something for you.
It's Miller time. It's the Miller Minute with Jim.
That's awesome.
Miller time.
Fuck. I like that.
Oh yes.
I could listen to this all day.
It's Miller time with Jim. It's the Miller Minute with Jim. It's Miller time with Jim.
I love that. That's that lounge sound of the
60s.
Yeah. Yeah.
50s. No, late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah, you know, that's when it transferred over in the 60s, actually. Yeah. Like, when was the Rat Pack at its height? You know, the Dean Martin, Sinatra, Sammy Davis, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. I remember
that had that sound, Tony Bennett, you know, I mean.
That's 60s. And that's
but that's where it came right in. I just love the sound though. It's a real soft shuffle sound.
With that jazz in there, it's beautiful.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Johnny,
Nice job, Johnny Trash.
You've outdone yourself again, Johnny.
Yes, you have.
That's fun.
This concludes our podcast.
Okay, see you.
See ya. First, wait, there's more.
Oh, wait.
But wait,
Act fast.
not so fast, you stoners.
Yeah.
You gotta figure out why we're here. The reason why you have legal cannabis in New Jersey is because a lot of people on this list gave their lives for this.
Mm-hmm.
Spend some time. You know, it wasn't about science. It wasn't about studies. It was about, here I am, and I need it. You know, and it was built on that, really. I mean, that was
For it. Get in a line like a dog and pony show, and a bunch of senators in the room and people and committees.
Yeah.
And beg for your lives. Remember that? Remember when they made everyone beg for their lives?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay. Let's go. That's all. This is my son. He has this
Yeah.
horrible disease. Can he get medical cannabis? Well, my son has this. Can he get medical cannabis? It was like the sickest thing I ever saw in my life.
Well, the story of Lester Grinspoon and his son, I forget his name, but he was the Harvard professor who was tasked with finding out what's wrong with marijuana. It was just bursting on the scene, sort of. And he peeled back the onion and found nothing's bad about it. He found the opposite, and he couldn't believe it. His son got leukemia, I believe it was, but it's cancer. And it got to a point where his wife said, if you don't get him some, I'm going to get him some, and so they did. And, when he tells a story about how he had some in the parking lot before going in for his chemo, and had some right when he came back out, the doctor knew it, because this is Dr. Lester Grinspoon talking with doctors, the way he said he not only didn't get violently sick, he came out and said he was hungry and said he wanted to get a submarine sandwich. And I always remember, because he said a submarine sandwich. I'm old. He's old. He's an old guy to me then. When we were talking, and it's testimony like that from somebody who is a court certified for the defense on cannabis issues. That's really became part of his job beyond what he did at Harvard. And then he asked the guy, the prosecutor, who he got to know well, was well respected each other, and said, "Why didn't you ever ask me about whether or not I use it?" And he says it wouldn't be relevant. And that's when he decided to try it, because he'd gotten all the way that far and never tried it himself. But it's the real stories and the sick people, and that's why at the end of the list, ending with Jeff, is like appropriate, because he was the one who used his terminal illness in show and tell moments, like I've never seen done. And I told him more than once that nobody else used, but there's more of the wheels, so I don't have a real good way of saying that, following her wheelchair ruts. But
Well, you
yeah. Anyway, he was, and the governor who couldn't answer his question of why New Jersey would help him die with their right to die law, but not help him live by growing medicine that would maybe put off him dying and needing to do that. Governor Murphy had no answer, never even made up one. And you never know. We're entering new territory next year, so we'll see. The list is long, though.
Our list begins with Cheryl Miller, Sabina Rose, Diane, Gracie, Cindy Mae, Marie, Jack, Joan, Randy, Polly, Bill, Chad, Jeremy, Colette, Matt, Troy, Russ, Roger, Jay, Ella, Hattie, Jackie, Anthony, Jake, Armando, Felicia, Lynn, Dan, Sean, Joyce, Lori, Frank, Brian, Flo, Carl, Thorne, Frank, Lorraine, Terry, Charlotte, Cher, Jaybird, Michael, Marley, Colette, Brendan, Red, Rico, Lulu, Becky, Lawanda, Chip, Paul, Lisa, Marcus, Gary, Julia, Wayne, Waxy, Joe Marie, Jeff Oaks.
This concludes our podcast.
See you Thursday, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Liz. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Bucket Man, wherever you are, and everybody else. Johnny Trash. Great song.
Yeah, really. Thanks, Johnny. Johnny.
Hashtag they shall go. They shall grow not old as we grow old. We shall outlive them
Years down.
at the going
Going down in the sun.
morning.
In the morning. We will.